We were such fools. Just so silly.
Talk for yourself.
Thinking we could walk in and look at campers and just walk back out again.
Well, here's the thing. We have never bought something new in our life.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, nah.
And I thought, first time for everything. We got back from vacation in March, and like we've talked about before, we liked many things about our old camper. I mean, really our first two campers, there was things we liked, things we didn't like. Mm-hmm. But ultimately we felt like the first one was too small, the second one was too big, and we were looking for one that was just right in the middle, a little bit smaller. We wanted an outdoor kitchen and still have bunks for the kids, but just ultimately a little bit smaller camper.
So we got back from vacation. We did a lot of online searching for different models and stuff, and we're like, well, there's really only one way to know what a model feels like. And so we thought, let's go to a couple camping stores and walk through some and see what they physically feel like. So when we read online and it says it's this long, we have a reference.
Right.
And so we did that.
Mm-hmm. And really, we were not finding really what it was that we were looking for, especially needing bunks. So we still wanted to sleep 4 kids in beds, not on like a dinette or a fold-out couch.
Or used. That was the other thing, is we wanted to buy used. And so we're like, okay, well, what model's been out for a few years with all of our desires in it?
And there was nothing.
There was nothing.
So we were walking around the camper store. Again, this was like in March, and we were just like checking out the different ones. And then we found it.
We did find it. So we found the camper that had the exact layout we were hoping for. It had the outdoor kitchen. It had like all the trendy new grays and light colors, and I was like, we won't have to fix this one.
Yeah, no remodeling. It was beautiful.
But I did have some hesitations on that one. It felt a little, maybe a little cheap, like well, all campers feel cheap, but it felt a little cheap. Especially cheap. Like they cut corners in some utility areas that I didn't really appreciate. Being a craftsman of sorts, it just seemed like there was some things that kind of bothered me about it.
But it was literally the only camper that we could find that really fit the bill. It was much shorter, more compact. And so, normally we're the type like, okay, take note of it. We're going to go search it out. We're going to find one. The problem was at that time, our understanding was they had only been making that camper for 1 year. So to try and find something used, there was like nothing out there.
And in that brand, in that model, they only made it for 1 year. They did not tell us that other brands made the same layout. So us being naive upper 30s individuals,
I think us just feeling like, okay, we want to camp, we want to make good family memories. This is the camper that fits the bill. If it is what it is, we've never bought anything new, maybe now is the time we just go for it.
So we signed papers on a brand new camper.
And then what happened?
I did not sleep that evening because I just felt appalled at spending that much money on a camper.
And not just that, you started researching about the brand and the make and the model when we got home, and the reviews were not super great.
No, that was the thing. So all my hesitations I had about some of the quality things came out in reviews I found later on at home. And so then, I wasn't sleeping that night because I was looking at how much it cost, which it was what it was. All of the other ones cost the same. And I just was getting more and more, appalled at our decision.
And do keep in mind, if you research pretty much any camper online,
you'll find
you're going to find horrible reviews and people that say they leak and water no matter what. So I was kind of like, Tom, every camper gets bad reviews because they're all made, fairly
and I was
cheaply.
Like, but I'm not going to pay that much for a camper that's not going to be perfect.
Right.
So I get on and I just start going research crazy for probably 24 hours straight. I found out that there are other brands of campers that made the same layout. And then I started, they're across the country at this point. So they're anywhere in the United States. I'm calling the dealers and I'm talking to them about the layouts, the pricing. That was the other thing. these other brands, they had better reviews, they were made by a better reputable manufacturer, and they were less money.
So that really
like a decent amount
made Tom unhappy.
And so I was really frustrated by it.
Yeah.
So I called the place that we essentially had bought the camper from. We put money down and wrote papers. And I told them all of this. I was just being totally honest. Well, they won't accept no for an answer. So then they come back and they drop their price to what the others were at. And I'm like, that's not the problem. The problem is I want this model camper now that you didn't even tell me about, but all of a sudden you guys can get that model.
Yeah.
So then we went back and forth for like 3 or 4 days. So we ended up canceling our contract on the brand new camper because I wasn't okay with it after that first night.
Yeah. And so they ended up refunding our deposit and everything. But then we still didn't have a camper, right? So we were kind of back to square one again.
Right.
But one thing we don't regret is our Helix mattress.
You said my line.
I know, sorry. But one thing we don't regret is
our Helix mattress that we sleep on every night at home, and we get incredible sleep. This camper needs one of those mattresses.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a way to get one in here as well, because when you get used to sleeping so well at home, then you kind of want the same thing when you're on vacation.
When you're as old as we are, you absolutely want the same thing. So if you don't know about Helix, Helix is a premium mattress in a box company. That's all I've memorized.
So you go online, you take their sleep quiz, and you fill in what firmness you like. Are you a side sleeper, back sleeper, front sleeper? Front, is that what it's called?
So the other thing about Helix that is awesome, not only the sleep quiz, but it is so good that your spouse can take it for you and you will get wonderful sleep.
Hey, if you know your spouse very well,
true.
I think you can take it for them. But you take the quiz and it matches you with your perfect mattress. And so for us, it's the Helix Luxe Dusk. And so it's a little bit firmer. In our guest room, we have the... what's it called?
I don't know, it's softer.
We have one in our guest room. It's just a little bit softer. And when we've laid on it, it feels a little bit soft. So you want to take the quiz and get matched with your perfect mattress, and then it gets delivered right to your door. And the fun part then is setting it up and watching it take shape.
And the other thing you're thinking is, if this is a mattress that I just get in a box, how do I know if I'm gonna like it? Well, Helix provides a 100-night sleep guarantee, which I actually appreciated a lot because I did not like it for probably 60 nights. And now it is my favorite mattress we've ever had.
Probably if we would have got a 100-night guarantee with the camper, we wouldn't felt so bad about it, right? We wouldn't have lost so much sleep right away.
100-night sleep in the camper. That would be, I don't know that we'd ever hit it.
So we love our Helix mattress. We're so grateful to Helix for sponsoring us. And so we're gonna put a link down below where you can save up to $200 and get 2 free pillows with your purchase. So that link will be both in the description box and in the top comment. So thank you, Helix, for your support, and thank you all for your support as well.
And thank you for the beauty sleep.
Yeah.
So I did more research. So I found one used camper in the United States at the time of this research that was out of the manufacturer we wanted. It had an outdoor kitchen. It had it checked all the boxes.
It was virtually the same camper, just a different brand.
Only better because it was the better brand.
Yep. And the price was 2/3 of what the new camper was going to be.
Right. It was 1/3 less than what the brand new camper was. The only problem with this whole scenario was we were back home in Minnesota, just having come home from Florida, and this camper was in Florida for sale by owner.
But we knew that, knowing that there was like none other like it out there, we're like, this camper is going to go quick. He had it priced really well.
Yeah.
It was a tough to find layout. And so Tom FaceTimed with the guy and...
Yeah, and he just goes out, walks us through the whole camper. And I looked at Dawn, I was like, I'm satisfied if you are.
Well, and not only was it 2/3 the price, but he had done a lot of the upgrades that we would do, like putting an awning over the slide, just other various stuff inside the camper. And then he was also going to include a bunch of stuff.
Oh, he included so much stuff. It was ridiculous.
So he had put at least a couple $1,000 extra and done just a lot of extra maintenance stuff
Which then you must ask yourself, what is the catch? Because there's gotta be a catch, right?
So he's walking us around it. He's saying, like, we just didn't use it. He had 2 kids and a family. He's like, we thought we would use it. We don't actually like camping that much, right?
He goes, I'd rather have a boat. I'm like, huh, okay. Well, I understand that.
Right. And so we're still like, is this too good to be true? But we're in Minnesota. He's in Florida.
Yep. So we purchased a 2019 Keystone Passport, sight unseen.
But Tom went down to get it, and it was everything you were, okay.
Hold on.
Yep, go ahead.
There was some negatives here. When we did the FaceTime, I told him, I said, well, I've seen everything I need to see. The only thing I can't tell via video is scent.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm like, well, as long as it doesn't smell bad, I'm seeing everything I got.
Yeah.
So I drove down there. I drove back down to Florida, and I picked up this camper we bought. And I don't know that I think there is some mold lingering somewhere inside of this camper. I got
disagree.
like a hound dog sniffer on me.
I believe the smell is like just closed up camper. No, it's just like closed up camper that was in Florida, stored outside in the hot weather. Tom is not.
I think I'm right.
So we are going to have my brother come over because he used to do mold remediation and water damage. I think there's nothing to find.
Like in the camper, if the camper's been closed up for a little while, you can smell it when you first go in. If the camper's been open, I think you smell it mostly in the bedroom up front. My opinion.
So we did get to take it on one trip. We went up to see Tom's family, and I didn't smell anything while we were camping. None of us got like congested or headache like you would with water, moisture stuff.
No, I didn't get any of that either. It's more just like an annoyance.
Okay. Well, ideally we're going to get it inside once the shed is a little more buttoned up. And so we're going to get it moved inside. So really we should not have to worry about water intrusion moving forward.
Right. No, in theory, you're right.
Yeah. So one of the things I liked most about this model was the kitchen. The way it was laid out, it had a lot of counter space, and this whole area here felt like really big and open. So even in the morning when we're all like getting coffee and cereal and all that, it just felt like there was plenty of room, lots of counter space, and just functions really well, way better than our other campers.
It's actually really fancy. It's like faux marble with the undermount sink, and like it's actually fairly fancy.
Yeah, it's way nicer than our real kitchen. And then it also had the bigger fridge, which when we go away for a weekend, it's not really a big deal, but on longer trips, it's definitely nice to have the big fridge.
And the kids were geeked out that there's a TV in here, which...
Yeah. I mean, they had one in their bunk area, but... they like having a TV out here in the main area, which is fine. I don't know.
They just watch a show in the evenings before bed.
I like the really big window above the dinette. It definitely feels, bright and spacious in here.
This camper also has, which probably only the tall people will appreciate, it has a domed roof. So you can fit like a 6'6" person in the middle, I believe is what it is, which is pretty high for a camper. The dome actually makes it feel a lot bigger in here.
Yeah, so I really like the kitchen just for whatever reason. It just feels very spacious and open and lots of counter space. And then it also has a really nice closet right when you come in the door that can be used for like shoes and stuff, but then also like pantry items. Yeah. It just feels like there's a ton of storage. Like we had no shortage.
And the bathroom is much bigger. The shower is bigger. You're not like cramped when you're sitting on the toilet. I mean, if you were doing that.
Mm-hmm. It just feels like they were able to utilize the space like exactly how we would have wanted if we were to design a camper. Yep. So we're really happy with it. We're really glad that we backed out of the other one and we're able to find this one, because I was starting to feel uneasy about it too then when Tom was like reading the reviews. At first I was like, they all get bad reviews, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah, but this one got really bad reviews.
Yeah. So the only thing we weren't quite sure about then was we were going from a traditional bunkhouse with 4 bunks, 4 beds, separate beds, to a double over double, which meant 2 and 2.
Yeah, 2 kids have to share beds.
And they were not excited about it. And that's when I pull out the story of when I was a kid.
Camper.
we could still go to Nana and Grandpa's house right now and look at the pickup camper that we, all 5 of us, slept in when we were traveling and camping.
Yep.
No air conditioning, no heat.
No bathroom.
No bathroom. So I was like, cry me a river, you know? Like, I mean, seriously, like, I love our kids, but like, this is...
You'll be fine, guys.
This is... If we would have been camping in this growing up, you would feel like you're at a luxury hotel. Like, this is super nice.
Yeah. The only camping we did as kids, it was in a tent on the ground.
Yeah.
Next to everybody in their RVs and their generators running and their air conditioners going.
But luckily, after they slept on it the first night, they were like, oh, yeah, it wasn't actually a big deal. You know, when you're camping, everyone gets super tired and you're just out having fun.
Well, and what we did, though, too, when we were looking at the new one is I crawled into the bunk and I was like, okay, well, this is really big for me even.
Yeah.
So then we brought the kids back later that same day and had all 4 of them get in the 2 bunks, and there was tons of room for them to grow and be comfortable. Yeah. And if down the road, the dinette, we're leaving in the dinette. The dinette folds into a bed as well. Right. So I had told Adeline, I'm like, if it's really too miserable sleeping in there, you could always sleep out on the dinette too. So like we said, the outdoor kitchen is at last. Well, then give me a minute. I gotta run to the house.
All right, Corbin, my daddy goes and gets the keys. What do you think of the new camper?
I really like it.
Yeah? Do you mind the bunks?
I love them.
Oh, good.
Totally out of breath. There you go. All right, so we have a mini fridge. Never used, or we've never used it. Here is the outdoor grill, it's outdoor sink. Sorry, I'm out of breath from running. And then this is the stove. We may take the stove out and put a grill insert in. Because that seems more useful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because this pipes into the LP off the front tanks of the camper.
Sure.
So then you don't have to carry LP anywhere. It just plumbs right into it. But I'm wondering if you're using a grill, if it's too close to...
Oh, yeah, that could get a little risky.
A little sketchy.
Tom likes to live on the edge.
Be like, oh, I wonder what happened to this camper, how it burnt up in this corner.
But we did like that the outdoor kitchen is under the awning, so that if it's raining or super sunny, then it's still covered, so that's kind of nice too.
Yep.
So
I think if we made any like real sacrifices or concessions with this camper, is the under storage is a little smaller than the previous camper we had.
Sure.
But I don't think we need to bring as much stuff as we used to bring.
Yeah.
Like when we went down with the other camper.
And I think the inside storage actually makes up for it. There's tons of storage inside. The only other thing we kind of sacrifice, I use that term very loosely, is that there isn't as much seating. So the dinette is really like the only seating. And so we don't have like a couch or an extra spot to sit.
But let's be honest, we're camping. Who cares?
But I think it's totally fine. So I'm not really worried about that. We'll see when we get on longer trips if we want to do anything different. But
and this camper is 4 feet shorter than the old camper and 1,000 pounds lighter. So should be a difference.
It does give us a little more flexibility that it can be pulled by Tom's truck. So he used his truck to go down and get it. So if we keep our family 6 people, then we could use his truck. If we have foster kids with or anyone else, then we're back to having to use the excursion. But we did use the excursion on the trip up north, and it was fine. Well, something blew off.
It blew off a intercooler boot, but that's no big deal.
Tom can fix that 10 minutes on the side of the road.
Super simple.
Then we were back on it. So Tom fixed it, and other than that, it was totally fine. So I still don't know what.
We have taken the excursion to my local mechanic, who is awesome.
Yeah.
And he did give us a full diagnosis that she may have a resting date at some point in its future. He says there are some signs. Yeah, there are some signs showing that she ain't gonna last forever. So that's kind of a bummer. But we're gonna run it for now. And if we get stranded again, well, then we'll cross that bridge then. I know, good morning after bad. You all can just make your comments.
Yeah. So we just felt really fortunate to be able to find this one at such a great deal, and that Tom was able to get it and didn't have any problems getting back with it. So we'll see. I mean, we've really only done, one short trip with it. So we'll see. We have a week-long trip planned in July. So that'll be our first real test to see how we like it. But so
I think
far,
it'll be fine.
Yeah. No, so far it seems really good.
Dawn has already talked about changes she wants to make to it. You guys can work your magic down in the comments and talk her out of it.
So like we said, our first camper was too small, the next one was too big. This one seems like it'll be just right, but of course we'll keep you posted and we'll let you know. Thanks for hanging out for us today. We hope you have a really great weekend. We love you and we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.